This is a past paper question on stats from this past paper here. So this is a CCEA past paper A2 applied maths. This one I think is from February 2022, and this is question 9. So this is a question on hypothesis testing involving the binomial. The probability that it rains on any day in April in Northern Ireland is thought to be 0.4, and meteorologists now suspect that climate change has affected this probability. To test his suspicion, he carries out a hypothesis test. He takes a random sample of 10 days in April. State the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis he would use. So we're going to let the probability it rains any day in April. It is binomial, and our sample is 10, and our probability then is 0.4. So our 80 is that obviously the probability is 0.4. And again, we need to be careful here. Our H1, so our alternative hypothesis then, so it doesn't say whether we think it's going to rain more or rain kind of fewer days. So it's going to be a two-tailed test, so that's a probability of not equal to 0.4, and that makes it obviously a two-tailed test. So he decides to use a 10% significance level, so that's going to be 5% at either side. So find the critical region for this test. So I'm going to put these obviously just kind of into the calculator and kind of try my different values. So decides to use a 10% significance level, find the critical region for this test. So as I say then, 10% is 5% at each end. And then plug in some numbers into the calculator. Let's kind of try for our value then. If we sub in x equals 6, now we need to think about exactly what that means. So I'm going to go to my calculator menu, 7, I scroll down and I want this one here, binomial CD 1, and I want variable. So my x value then, we're going to try here is 6, and that's going to be 10, and then that's going to be 0.4. X is 6, it's 0.945. Let's try 7. So change that to 7. 0.9877. Now remember, this is kind of not quite, I guess, how it looks. So that's x equal to 6. So that's everything up to including 6 gives me 0.945, and then 7 is kind of into there. So if we're looking for the probability of x is greater than or equal to 7, that's equal to 1 minus the probability of x less than or equal to 6, and that gives us 1 minus this, which then is going to be 5.48%. So at 7 it's 5.48, so it's not quite there. Then for 8, it's obviously 1 minus 7, and that's that, so that's 1.23%. So the 5.48% signifies then that 7 is not in the critical region, so that's up at the top end, and that 8 is, so it's going to be 8 and 9 and 10, and again if you try 9 and 10 they're kind of already well in there, much less than 1.23%. Let's check then at the other levels. There's not much space here. Maybe I'm kind of doing it kind of a slow way or something. So let's try 1, 2 and 3. 0.0, so it's 4.6%. So that is in it, and then 0 is going to be in it as well, so I forgot to try that. 0. Yeah, that's fairly small then, so that's 0.6%. And then we try 2. That's now up to 16%. So that's 4.63%, and that's then up to 16%. So obviously, the 1 is indeed in the critical region, 0 is going to be in the critical region, and then 2 onwards isn't going to be. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 aren't in the critical region. Therefore, critical region is 0, 1, 8, 9 and 10. Meteorologist finds that it rained on 7 of the 10 days. What conclusion can the meteorologist draw from this test? Well, as we said importantly there just on the previous page, 7 isn't in the critical region, so there's insufficient evidence then at that level. I'm just going to pause while I write this because it's always a bit of a drag, and then we'll read out what we have. So here's what we've written, obviously it refers back then to the original. So 7 is not in the critical region. There is insufficient evidence at the 10% level to reject the H0. The probability remains at 0.4 that it will rain on any day.